everyone, my name is Shana Cram and I am the Public Affairs Officer at U.S. Embassy Bishkek. Today I'm going to be talking about making an apple pie and democracy. The reason for this is because we have upcoming this week Thanksgiving, and as part of Thanksgiving we Americans tend to make a lot of pie, and it's an important time to be talking about democracy. So, I'll be talking about how making a pie is somewhat like making a strong democracy. So let's start off. First of all, if you're going to make a strong democracy, or the base of a pie, you have to start with the institution. The very fabric of a democracy, or a pie, is going to start with its base. And in this case, the base of both the pie crust and democracy is going to be flour, which we are terming the voices of the people. So, to make our pie, or democracy, we're going to add as the biggest ingredient the voices of the people. Now each of these is individual grains of wheat, votes that have been cast from Americans to make the form of our electoral system. This is voting right here. So we're going to add this to the base of our democracy. Next, we are going to add to this our pie crust, the institution of our pie, or our democracy, butter. Butter, in this case, represents all of our rights. Our right to free speech, our right to assemble, all of the rights that are outlined in our Constitution. These are the basis of our democracy, which help to really solidify and bring everything together. They make it crisp, and they help to form the basis of our democracy. So here we are, our rights, our free speech, our right to assemble, our right to petition, all represented by this butter, all of the rights outlined in our Constitution that form the basis of our democracy, butter. So I'll cube this up, I'll throw it into our basis for the foundation of democracy, going into the mix. So next, to form the basis of a strong democracy, or an apple pie, we are going to add to this mixture a strong civil society. We need to have civil society and groups that balance and call for accountability in government. So a strong civil society, a strong press, we're going to say that that is equal to a teaspoon of salt. We shall add this into the mixture. Lastly, to form the basis of any strong democracy, you need to have a sovereign state that is fundamental for a pie or a democracy. In this case, we're saying that water represents the sovereignty of our nation. Without this, it would be in a completely dry mix and incredibly crumbly. So, in that scenario, our democracy would crumble without a sovereign state. Let's go ahead and mix up the basis of our democracy, our foundation, our pie crust. Okay, I've melted our butter, which represents again our rights. Fundamental part of the mix. Okay, there we go. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to really knead it. Kneading it meaning taking your hands and kind of moving the dough through your fingers so that it really gets out all the lumps. There's going to be some lumps when you're making a pie crust. There's going to be some lumps when you're making a strong foundation. So you're going to have to put some work into it. next thing we're going to do, we're going to take this dough and we are going to flatten it out. So to do this, we are going to use a cutting board. I so happen to be from the great state of Michigan. So I'm going to use my Michigan cutting board to flatten out and form the basis of our democracy. Thank you, great state of Michigan, for upholding our strong democracy. Let's sprinkle some more voices of the people on our great state of Michigan here, so we can roll out our strong institution. All right. The mold for which we are going to take the basis of our democracy, the foundation, and formulate it. So, one might say that this is actually the land of the United States of America, forming the base on which our foundation is formed. It has its imperfections, but the basis, the foundation, is strong. Okay, next we're going to form the interior of our pie and our democracy. And in this case, the formation starts with the people. The people themselves, just like in America, are diverse. So in this case, I'm using different types of apples to represent the beautiful and extensive diversity of the United States. So let's cut up our apples. They've been washed. We need to core them and cut up the pieces of apple to add to the interior of our beautiful democracy. So now we have prepped our apples. These again represent the people of the United States. So we're going to show how these apples individually are all different varieties of apple, different flavors, just like the diversity of the United States. So we're going to add these slices of apples together to form the interior of our democracy, our society. Here it is, our society. As you can see, less of a melting pot and more of a mixed salad, or in this case, pie mixture. We're going to add to the basis of our society a fundamental ingredient for any democracy. In reality, this is sugar, but we're going to say that this sugar represents the very important rule of law. In any society, you need to have what surrounds the people. What always surrounds the people is our culture. So we've added here a mixture of allspice and cinnamon, a quarter teaspoon. In pie, as well as in democracy, you need to have a healthy dose of accountability and transparency. We're going to say that this lemon juice represents that transparency. Next up, we're going to add a bit of salt, which in this case, we're going to say represents economic freedom, another important part of any healthy democracy, which also surrounds the people. All right, let's go ahead and mix that up. Putting our mixture of society here into the foundation of our democracy. Next, again, we're going to take more of the foundation of our democracy, our apple pie. I'm going to use the great state of Michigan here to form the top, to envelop our society within our democracy. Okay, cutting up thin layers. This will form a lattice, but just like in our metaphor of democracy, we're going to actually give this a different name. We're going to say that each of these represents part of our system. So within our government, we have the legislative, represented by this pie lattice, the executive, represented by this pie lattice, and the judicial, represented by this pie lattice. So we'll add some more to each side. And in the center, because we're making a democracy pie, we're going to do something a little bit different. There we have it. D for democracy. We're going to put that right in the middle of our pie. Let's bind it all together with our checks and balances between our system. And there you have it, our democracy pie. It is beautiful. But as you can see, it is unbaked. So like any democracy, it needs time to kind of formulate together and to become a true and beautiful democracy. And we are going to put our democracy into the oven to withstand the test of time. Now, folks, we wait. It takes time to make a strong and stable democracy. So here it is, our democracy pie, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that the next time you make a pie, you think about how it's just like a democracy.